Welcome to Get Your Bell Rung Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, KG Landry. We are going to be doing a recap for Friday Night SmackDown on March 27th, 2026. 22 days before WrestleMania. Guys, with me tonight, WCW veteran and author of Looking Up at the Lights. I'm talking about Robbie Idol. Joining us soon will be the co-host for Rasslin Memories. I'm talking about the Grizzled Vet. He'll be with us soon. Robbie, how are you, man?
I'm good. How you doing, KG?
Man, I'm doing good. Look, I tell you, SmackDown tonight, there was something that happened in SmackDown tonight, and we'll get to it, that I felt that it was just, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, maybe so, I don't know. I almost looked at it as a little disrespectful to professional wrestling to the point that it cost SmackDown an entire grade tonight. It really did, and we'll get to it. Overall, what were your thoughts on SmackDown?
It had its ups and downs. I mean, it's plus and minuses. They had some good things, some bad things. I got to say the bad things probably outweighed the good things.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we get started, man, and I didn't mention it. I meant to mention it last night, but I figured I'd save it for a WWE product that we're going to recap on. Congratulations, Sid Vicious and Bad News Brown, for, they're going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. I was so thrilled to hear both of these people's names. Bad News Brown, of course, huge part of Southern wrestling whenever I was growing up. And Sid Vicious, man, WCW. Who will ever forget one of the most gruesome injuries we've seen live on television? And talk about Sid Vicious when he landed wrong in that leg and had that break. But he went on to do some great things. So yeah, congratulations to them both. Grizzled, how are you, my friend? Grizzled, you there? Nope.
I think we're having
Grizzled?
some connection issues.
Yeah. He's having some connection issues. What is your memories of Bad News Brown and Sid Vicious? Either as a professional wrestler, if I don't know if you came across them, or as a fan.
Well, I remember watching Bad News Brown as a kid. So I remember him. He was like, when I first started watching, he was in the early days when I watched.
Right.
Sid was one of those guys that was like, the monster type. Rick and I were supposed to work him and Danny Spivey and Robarts one night, okay, and they didn't show up. So I don't know why they didn't make it. In a way, I was kind of glad, because I was thinking, I was thinking to myself, I hope Rick's taking that finish and not me. Sorry, Rick, but they didn't show up. But that would have been, and so I never, after that, I really didn't cross paths with Sid, but I remember watching him throughout and just, thought, I don't know if I want to work with this guy or not, but, obviously for him to do what he did,
right,
and the way he looked, he had to be very good at it, because I never heard anything bad about him.
It's funny that you guys never crossed paths in WCW, because I swear that I know he was in WCW during the big, NWO stuff that happened. But I swear that he was in WCW earlier than that as well. I'm surprised you guys' careers didn't.
Yes, I don't remember him earlier than that. And I remember he was in, it had to be Florida Championship Wrestling, because I remember Spivey, and even I didn't really cross paths with Spivey either.
Right.
Which was kind of surprising, because as long as Spivey was there.
Yeah. Man, let's get to SmackDown. What was your thought? Well, like you said, you said overall a lot of you thought the bad kind of had more bad than good. And we'll get into that. We started off with Randy Orton. He came out and he talks about Cody, and he said, "Look, Cody Rhodes said that he wanted me to be the best version." Grizzle, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Well, before we get there, let's kind of backtrack
Right,
a little
so all I
bit.
could hear was so KG sounded perfect. Just kidding.
Let's backtrack a little bit.
Anyways, I'm here. Let the show begin.
Yeah, we're talking about Sid Vicious and Bad News Brown being announced to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. What is your memories and thoughts on both of these gentlemen?
Obviously, my thoughts with Bad News Brown would be going back to the WWF days. His feud, with Roddy Piper, which I still love the WrestleMania match with the infamous half black, half white, Roddy Piper. But thanks to Peacock and all that, I think we have now lost any of that actual footage. But no, but I remember he came out with what he had, the sewer rat, and most of my stuff with him was WWF. I learned more about him later on in years through YouTube and the internet and research and all. I found out more of his career. Always a Sid fan though. Loved Sid from the first time I saw him in WCW as the Skyscrapers, because at that time they had big men, but they didn't have a big man who looked like Sid. Now, Drew McIntyre and everybody else, it's just as common. Flip a coin, you're going to hit somebody with it. But when Sid first came in, nobody looked like Sid.
Right.
And that attracted me. I loved Sid. When I first clicked in, I heard you talking about the injury at the pay-per-view when he jumped. And funny story about that. I had a friend, her and her husband were staying with me for a while when they first moved into the area. And I was watching the pay-per-view, and she was cool. She actually went out and bought some pizza and got me some beer to watch while I was watching my pay-per-view. And she watched it. She was watching it with me because we were all in the living room, and she was fascinated by the Young Dragons and 3 Count because of all the high flying they did. And she's big into acrobatics and Cirque du Soleil, so she was fascinated. But then we're watching that match, and Sid jumps off that rope and he lands. And I don't think I've ever heard a woman scream like that in my life, but she just flipped bloody murder when she saw that leg just go another direction. And even I was like, she goes, "Oh my God, does that happen all the time?" I'm like, no, that's a new one. But I always remember that, man. She liked the first match and then screamed when Sid snapped that leg. And then they kept replaying it.
Right. One of the things that about Sid was Sid Vicious was kind of that monster because he was Psycho Sid in professional wrestling without really being booked as that monster. You know what I'm saying? He just filled that part because he truly looked like he was psychotic. You didn't know what was going to happen, didn't know what the man was going to do, and he played that role perfectly. He really did.
Very well, yes.
Yep. Going into SmackDown.
Looked like him, though. Nobody looked like him at that time.
Right. Yep, that's true. Going into SmackDown tonight.
Do we have to?
Yep. Overall, I was telling Robbie that there was something that happened tonight that kind of turned me a little bit a lot to the point that when I was going to grade SmackDown tonight, went down to full grade. And we'll talk about it. What was your thoughts overall with SmackDown?
As usual with SmackDown, there was stuff that wasn't necessary. A couple of decent matches in there. A little bit of a surprise I wasn't expecting. So overall, it was entertaining. I wasn't looking at my watch going, "Fuck, is this over yet?" But
Yep.
You're the only one. I think.
Well, hold on. I gotta be guys. I need to confirm something that Joe just sent me. I'm in shock.
No way. Okay, continue what you're doing, KG. Let me take a look real fast here.
Well, I'm a little speechless right now. Hold on.
I can understand that. Yeah. Cauliflower Alley Club, right here. It's posted.
Guys, just got
If
some
you want me
bad
to,
news.
I can read it exactly as it says.
Yep. Joe, well, real quick, Joe Helms, thanks for that news. And I'll let you read it, but a little shocked that the vice president of Cauliflower Eye Club, Rich England, just passed away. Fuck. Go ahead, Grizzle.
This is official from the Cauliflower Alley Club Facebook page. Today, we pause with heavy hearts to honor the life and legacy of Rich Ingling, our beloved executive vice president and treasurer of the Cauliflower Alley Club, who has passed away at the age of 75. Rich was far more than a dedicated executive. He was the heartbeat of the CAC. His unwavering commitment, loyalty, and passion helped shape the club into the brotherhood it is today. For years, he gave selflessly of his time, energy, and spirit, always putting the members and the mission first. His work behind the scenes ensured that the CAC continued to support and uplift those in the wrestling community who needed it most. A dear and trusted friend of CAC President Brian Blair for over 40 years. Rich's bond with Brian was a testament to his loyalty. Okay, everybody here?
No, you're breaking up really
everybody
bad,
here?
Man.
Yeah.
No, you're breaking up.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to read this. It's my internet connection.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up.
Okay, I tried to read it.
Yeah.
I can hear you guys. Am I good now?
Yeah, you're better. You're better now. Go ahead and see if you can pick it up where you stopped from.
Okay. What was the last? Okay, let me go. Hold on.
The last was like something with Brian, I think. Brian.
Yeah. So I can get it from here.
A dear and trusted. I got it. Okay.
A
dear and trusted friend of CAC President Brian Blair for over 40 years. Rich's bond with Brian was a testament to his loyalty and the kind of lifelong friendships he built throughout his life. He was a man you could count on, steady, sincere, and always there when it mattered. Beyond his incredible contributions to the CAC, Rich was a devoted family man. He leaves behind a loving wife, beautiful children, and cherished grandchildren who will carry forward his legacy of kindness, integrity, and compassion. We are truly heartbroken by this loss. Rich Ingling was not just a colleague, he was family. His presence will be deeply missed, but his impact will forever be felt. Rest in peace. Thank you for everything. We love you, Rich.
You know, last year at the reunion, it was said on stage, and I can't, forgive me, I can't remember who said this. I think it might have been her, but maybe it might have been somebody else. I don't know. But they brought up to the guests, everyone that was there sitting down was at the dinner, for everyone to look around, because there's a good possibility that not everyone that was there would be back the following year, next year.
That's every year, yeah.
Right. The point of to embrace, those that are with us now. Rich was not someone that I would even thought of not being there. My heart's broken. Guys, I want to, just before we continue, in honor of Rich, let's do a 30-second silence to pay respects to Rich, if you guys don't mind. God, I don't know where to go from here. It's one of those things that, man, he you know he was a really nice guy. I unfortunately didn't have the opportunity to get to know him really well. Get to know him a little bit. Um, and yeah, Terry knew him well. Definitely a very sad day. He he's supposed to be on the podcast, and he's busy. We had time, struggled to get a schedule, and we literally said, "Oh, we got plenty of time. You'll be on." And it goes to tell you that you never know. Embrace life. Tell people that you love them, because nobody's guaranteed tomorrow. Vet, did you know Rich at all?
I never got the chance to meet him in person. And just to let you know, KG, I went ahead. I shared it on our Facebook page from the Cauliflower LA Club. So I went ahead and did that for us real quick. I never met him in person. But a few years ago, due to some hacking issues, I lost all of my money in my bank account and wasn't able to pay the rent. And Royal Duncan stepped forward and said that I should be allowed to ask for help from the cuff. So I did. And I was only expecting a small amount, but Rich wrote a check for the entire amount that was owed. I'm not going to get into how much.
Right.
And I got a note and a card from him saying, blah, blah, blah. Just, I think it's a standard thing they send out. It was like a letterhead and his business card, but he wrote the check, sent it off, and it was for the full amount. It wasn't supposed to be. So I can say that the club does help those in need.
Right.
But personally, never met the man. I've heard good things about him, but due to the fact I haven't been able to make it to reunions in years, I never got a chance to. Spoke to him on Facebook a few times.
Right.
Reached out to him for some help for different things when friends of mine are with projects and things, but that was it.
Yeah, I was fortunate to be able to. I've met him in person. We spoke a bunch of times. Yeah, I just don't know. Robbie, did you have the opportunity to get to know Rich at all?
No, I heard the name, but I never had the opportunity to meet him.
Yeah, like I said, don't even know where to go from here. Yeah, I guess this get back to SmackDown.
I would say, man, in his memory, we should go on doing what we're doing because to entertain, and right now people might need a little bit of our goofy entertainment.
Yeah. Let's get to SmackDown. Randy Orton opened the show. He's talking about Cody Rhodes and how Cody told him that he wanted Randy to be the best Randy that of himself. And Randy said, for the past few years, the voices in my head I've shut down. You think, but the problem is the voices I've been hearing were all of you fans. And now that he's listened to the voices, he can't be shut down. And then Matt Cardona interrupts, hitting Randy on the head with a mic. I thought maybe that we was going to see the old Matt Cardona, the not Zack Ryder, but Matt Cardona later on, and we'll get to that. That was the hopes. Grizzle, your thoughts on the segment?
Randy's promo was okay. I like what they're doing with the voices in his head now. I kind of like that. Cody kind of woke up something inside of him, so I like the promo. Matt coming out though, even my son watching it went, "What the hell was that?" Because he literally just took what was it, a microphone?
Yeah,
just boink right on top of the head, and Randy's out. I was expecting. I'm like, okay, no blood. Because right. The way Randy was selling it, you would have thought he split his head open like a ripe cantaloupe. And that spot just put the brakes on it for me. I'm like, oh, Jesus. That just ruined it because it looks so hokey. Just pop, right in the head. And Randy's out there holding on to the thing, holding his head. You would have thought he got hit with a sledgehammer.
Yeah. Robbie.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is, I mean, you can see they're trying to make Randy the heel, and the crowd's just cheering for him, so he's over. The part I had with like Cardona was funny when he hit him with the mic and Randy went down. All right, if I'm pissed at you, I'd have went right at you, still went at him,
Right.
but he kind of just stood in the ring while Randy rolled out. So that part just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like him just standing there, you would have thought he would have went and tried to attack him and keep on going.
Right. Yeah, and we'll get into this later at the main event, but I think that WWE screwed the pooch by trying to make Randy the heel, to be honest, and we'll get there. Next, we go to Nick Aldis with Trick Williams backstage. Nick says he's impressed and gives notice to Trick Williams that he's going to be used at WrestleMania. Sami Zayn interrupts, and by the way, he gets booed when the fan sees him. And asks Nick, well, what is he going to be doing at WrestleMania? And Nick's like, you haven't been doing much, man. Don't really have nothing for you. And as Sammy is walking away, Trick Williams shouts out, maybe next year. Well, Sammy turns around and knocks Trick Williams on his ass and says that he's going to make it to WrestleMania no matter what. I actually like this segment. It was funny, but at the same time, you get starting to really see Sami Zayn becoming unhinged, Robbie.
Yeah, but my problem is I've just never been a Sami Zayn fan. But I was glad to hear that Trick got a shot to go to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, look, and we know what happens later, and we'll get there, but then no one was surprised to hear ultimately, and I'm going to jump ahead a little bit by saying this, that Sami Zayn and Trick Williams are going to be fighting each other at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was going to be a triple threat.
Right.
That's where I kind of thought it was going to go.
And we'll get there to see if it's going to be or not. Grizzle, your thoughts on this segment, man?
I didn't have a problem with the segment. It's been one of the better segments with Sami Zayn. He didn't have a fit. He didn't. Yes, we did hear that.
Yeah, we did. We actually just did a moment of silence for him. I know you guys were close. I am so sorry about your loss. We're all at a loss right now. He was such a good guy. He really was. I'm going to be writing something up on Rich here pretty soon. Herb.
Anyways, as I was saying, I was expecting Sammy when they said, we don't have a spot for you, that he was going to throw one of his little tantrums and throw some around, but he didn't. This time he came back around, dropped Trick, and said, I'm going to WrestleMania. So I was kind of interested in it. Okay, he wasn't playing a whiny little and throwing things. So, overall, this was probably one of the better promos in the show. And there were a lot of promos in this show, but,
Yeah. Herb, if you're still with us, would you like to come on for a moment to talk about Rich? If you don't, I understand. This is fresh and it's raw. But I want to extend the offer to see if you wanted to I can send you an invite to come on to talk about him for a moment and just how much of a wonderful guy he was and what Rich did for the California Art Club, which means how much he has helped and touched the lives of so many people as well. Just let me know if you'd like to join us for a moment, Herb. I'll send you that invite. Next, we see the Bellas for the match for a match against Flair and Bliss. But before that happens, we also backstage Randy with Nick Aldis. He's pissed and he demands a match. And Nick Aldis is like, put his arm. Randy's like, I did it to his arm. I don't care. He went on to say, and if you don't give me this match, you're not going to like what I'm going to do. Nick's like, fine. Now, this is what was silly about it, Grizzle, in my opinion. So many times, how many times have you seen security surround, I don't know, Sami Zayn for one, and other wrestlers because they've not been cleared to wrestle? But here's McDonald, arm freshly broken, buddy. And Nick Aldis is like, fuck it. Go ahead, Randy, whip his ass, basically. What'd you think about this?
Well, yeah, he's got the broken arm. He should be cleared. It was a little odd, but I mean, hey, I mean, they do what they do. But no. I mean, once again, like I said, watching with my son, he noted, "How's he gonna wrestle? He's got a broken arm." I'm like, we're gonna watch. Let's see what happens.
Robbie, did that cross your mind, or was it just it's professional wrestling?
Well, here's my thing with it. Why even have security? Because the guys actually do nothing anyways. I mean, we get into
security was so pathetic. And I'm sorry to interrupt. What goes through my mind every time I see security getting their ass whipped? These are obviously young men who have just gotten into the business, right? They're probably at the training center or whatnot. And I'm always thinking of these guys wondering, I wonder if there's going to be one of these guys that's going to be the next big talent in WWE in a few years. I really do.
Right, because it has happened with some of the guys throughout. But
Ciampa was a lawyer.
Yeah.
So you see that, and it's we'll get into it later on through the show. But you have all this security and stuff, and they, like you said, they get their ass whipped, and they don't. So why even have them? But I mean, I get it. Whatever. Yeah, it was kind of funny. You're like, how's we know the outcome of this match, because you guys won't let him be Matt Cardona,
Well, hold on. Don't spoil it yet. Maybe we're going to get a Matt Cardona. You never know.
I'm sorry.
Now we go back to the current match again. We've seen the Bellas walk out, and I can't tell you how excited I was.
Oh, I know. You were just bouncing in your seat, dude.
And then, of course, I got even more excited because the Irresistible Force comes out to cut a promo and say, look, we're the best tag team. We're the better ones. People want to see us, not you guys. And then they go to the ring to watch the match. Couple of things. Nikki Bella throws Bliss into the Irresistible Force of the match. Fans are definitely behind Bliss and Flair. Bella's actually, look, I know I just, got you're a little sarcastic about it, but gotta give flowers if they deserve flowers. Considering these ladies haven't tagged in a very long time together for the most part, they actually look good tonight in the ring. They really did. I'm not going to take that away from them.
What match did you watch, KG?
And look, again, considering they have not been together in such a long time, I think they actually look good. And we'll get to you, Robbie. Don't jump on the turnstile. Don't make me drop you.
Oh, damn.
Oh, man, don't be getting your ass whipped before your match. Now, what I thought was goofy about this is that Alexa Bliss was getting her ass kicked. She finally gets that tag for Charlotte Flair to come in to do a couple of things, only to tag Bliss back into the match immediately. And I'm thinking, should she be selling that she just got her ass kicked and not getting back into the match so quickly? I found that a little weird. And when it came to Charlotte Flair, guys, and maybe it's just me, I don't know, but it looks like Flair she doesn't look as crisp as she used to back when she was a competitor. It looks like her being in a tag team this long is starting to affect her because, in my opinion, and don't get me wrong, I'm not shitting on her because I still look on her worst day, she'd be better than my best day. But she still doesn't look like the Charlotte Flair that I'm used to seeing. She just doesn't. Robbie, I was going to go to you, but since you want to be a dick, fuck you. Grizzled.
Hey. I'm going to make an executive decision here. Robbie, go.
Yeah, you're exactly. That don't mean shit, Drizzle. Man, you don't think Bellas they look decent tonight considering how long it's been since they've been in a match together, tag teaming?
No, because I saw Bree slow on some stuff. So that she was slow on some stuff.
Now, I didn't say they look great. I said they look good together.
Okay. Well, I'd have gave
Might
you
have looked
that.
good in the entrance. That was about it.
There was a couple spots she just looked off, and that kind of just you went, typical Bree. But I mean, you knew it was all predictable. You knew somebody was going into to Nia and Lash. You knew one of them was going to go. You figured it was going to be a disqualification. That the ending was a surprise.
Right.
I didn't think that they would have pinned them. I figured it was going to be a DQ to try to protect both teams.
Right.
But yeah, you can see Charlotte. I mean, what you're saying, it does make sense. To me, Nikki's done okay, but Brie just looked off and looked a couple slow. And even you can see even when Alexa was with Brie, both of them kind of looked a little off in a couple spots. So, I mean, maybe the regular fan isn't going to notice it. And I guess you guys that have watched wrestling so long, me being in the ring, you pick up on that stuff.
I was trying to be nice. Now, as you said, Last Legend interferes, gave Bella the win. Last Legend, what happened is she threw the belt. Actually, no, that's not even what happened. She hits Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, she hit, and I will give Lash props. That punch does look really good.
Yeah. Yep. Terry wants to know, do you think they're trying to set up a forward for Mania? Terry, I got to tell you, my honest answer is I don't think anything at all because I don't give a fuck. I'm just not into this storyline at all. What about you, gentlemen? Go ahead.
Cripes almighty. All right, I'm going to agree with you on a little bit. The Bellas looked okay for not being in the ring for so long. Nikki far better than Brie. Brie has been out way too long. I'm also going to agree with Robbie, though. There were spots where it just came to a complete slow, and it was when Brie was in the ring. And that's going to be ring rust as far as I know. Once again, never been in the ring, so I don't know. But if there's anything on the negative for the Bellas, it was going to be Brie. She was a little slow, but she hasn't been wrestling much. Nikki's been back, had some, and I'm not going to say Nikki's, top tier, technical wrestler, but, as far as that goes, I had no problem with the finish. I liked it. Now,
this is what my biggest problem. It's not really a problem. It's just I hate when they do this. But before I go there, do you guys think they're trying to set up for a four-way at Mania? And actually, let me bring this point up before we get to that because this kind of fits in. The post-match, we see the Irresistible Force take out everybody, and then Bayley and Lyra makes the save. Now, because we know that they're going for the titles on Monday Night Raw at Madison Square Garden, they're the last two standing between them and the Irresistible Force. They're not winning the titles. Irresistible Force is going over. Wrestling freaking 101. That's what happens 99.9% of the time. That's why I hate when they do that shit because they give it away, in my opinion. Now, what I actually laughed at this because I'm like, that didn't look like something that needed to be sold because Flair put that much force in it when she actually pushed Brie down and put her in her ass. Flair pushed her. It wasn't sell for me and a little push. No, she pushed for her. So I was wondering, and Robbie, you're talking about this. Do you think Flair was frustrated a little bit because the match wasn't as good as she thought it was going to be because should have been because of the ring rust between the Bellas?
Could have been. I mean, I heard stories about Charlotte, who knows? I don't know because I never talked to her. I never met her. So you could say yes, maybe that she was kind of pissed, thinking, all right, you're back, let's do this, and you're kind of holding them to a higher standard,
Right.
Right. On the 4-way thing, because you figure to get everybody in for their WrestleMania moment, I can see them doing this.
Right. Have you ever heard my Charlotte Flair story?
About the airport?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
have you heard it?
I don't think so.
So, because he said you never met Flair. So, years ago, my wife and I and my 3 little ones, they were small at the time. We were at the airport in, I think, Orlando, because I think we were flying home from Disney. And we're sitting down waiting for our flight. And my wife's like, hey, I think that was, she's AEW now, Mercedes Moné, whatever her name was back then. Sasha Banks. I went, no. Then my wife's like, that's Charlotte Flair. And I said, no. I looked up at Charlotte Flair. Now, at the time, my 3 little ones were Charlotte Flair fans. So, me being the dumbass that I am, jumped up as she was passing by me and said, Charlotte! She shit herself. I scared the fuck. I'm 6'5", right? At the time, anyway. Much better shape, a little bigger, big bald-headed guy. Charlotte! She jumped and she looked at me, and I swear to you, if she would have had pepper spray in her hand at that moment, I would have gotten sprayed. And she had this, oh my God, look, mixed in with a what a fucking dumbass look on her face. And I went, would you take a picture with my kids? And then she seen my kids, and that's when her guard went down. She's like, yes. Gracefully took a picture with my kids. That was the moment that I learned to never be a mark again that way, especially in the airport, because I was embarrassed. At that moment, I was embarrassed. I didn't want to act embarrassed in front of my kids, but I was embarrassed and ashamed of myself, because normally I wouldn't act like that. But it was Charlotte Flair, and I knew what my kids loved her for whatever reason. So I had to, stop her. And then me and the dumbass that I am, Nia Jax was with her. So right before I get a picture with my kids or Charlotte, I didn't stop and say, oh, well, not Nia. You, point to Nia, you can be in the picture too if you want. Had to make her feel like shit, like she's some type of a, sidekick that wasn't deserving of it. I was an asshole, and I swear to you, I know that they will never remember this. I'm a nobody, but I do. And if the day ever comes where I'm able to speak to both of them, first thing I'm going to do is apologize. Even though they don't remember, I'm going to apologize, especially to Nia, because she deserved much more than, oh, you could be there too. But in all fairness, I really wasn't that familiar with Nia Jax at that point yet. It is what it is. But yeah, that's my story.
Well, we had a chance because we went to NXT. One of Penelope Paradise, one of her friends, Missy,
yeah,
she used to hang out with us too. Her husband worked for NXT, so he had gotten us tickets. So we went to the show and we were hanging out, and I guess Missy had got to know quite a few of the talent because of her husband. And it was the end of the night, and Charlotte came out, and we were like, hey, I was more so than, I think Bob was pretty much quiet, but I was kind of pressing Missy, going, hey, if Charlotte comes out, will you introduce us to her, just because you had watched her and everything. Right. And it was funny, she did come out, but I guess she was in such a big hurry. Missy just really never took the time to say, hey, these 2 guys used to wrestle with your dad. But so that was about as close. We got to see her go away. She said hi to Missy and bye to Missy.
I was really shocked at how shy Nia Jax is, because you can just pick up right away that she's a really shy person. A little surprised about that. But yeah, like I said, ever have an opportunity to meet either one of them, I'm going to say, hey, I know you're not going to remember this. Why would you? I'm a jackass. I'm a nobody. But this is what happened. I'm embarrassed, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Guys,
It's not Charlotte Flair, but I had an incident like that once
Yeah.
at a show back home in California. WWE was doing a house show in Reading, and we were in the parking lot, and we looked over, and the guy I was with, he's like, "Oh, hey, there's Nail," and it was Kane. Him and his partner were the guy he was riding with were coming in. So of course everybody's going over to see, Kane. I got a picture with him. My wife and I got a, girlfriend at the time, but we got a picture with him and all that. And everybody's like all surrounding Kane. Well, right off to the side, I see the guy that was riding with him because he was getting before he got out of the car, and it was Funaki.
Oh,
Nobody was going up to Funaki. Everybody wanted to see Kane. I walked over to him. I'm like, "Hey, sir, pleasure to meet you." Shook his hand. I said, "Can I get a picture?" And he was like, big smile. "Oh, thank you." Very polite guy, but nobody was paying attention to Funaki. Everybody wanted to see Kane. So kind of the same thing with you. You saw Charlotte, and you're like, "Nah, okay, whatever."
Yeah. You know who that happened to? About 6 months ago, we went to MAW. It's an indie show in Minneapolis. They were doing a fundraiser show, a benefit show, and there was some pretty big name people there that were doing meet and greets. One of them being Carlito. Well, someone that was also there was Paul Hellering, the manager of Road Warriors. And I was absolutely just shocked at the amount of people who's just walking by him because they just wanted to go talk to Carlito. Wow. And I'm like, and no disrespect to Carlito, great guy. I got to meet him. But I'm thinking to myself, do you people not fucking realize the legend and the amount of wisdom you're walking by when you just walk by Paul Ellering and not bother to say anything? Blew my mind. I talked to him, super nice guy. Snitsky was there. Talked to him. That guy treated me like he's been knowing me for years. I'm like, super nice guy as well. But yeah, it just kind of blew my mind. But a big part of that is these younger fans, I swear, they don't know. They have no, it seems like anyway, they just have no interest in wrestling history at all. It's like to them, wrestling history is the Attitude Era. They stop at the Attitude Era. They don't go further back than that. And that's always blown my mind because professional wrestling is one of these sports that to be a true wrestling fan, I feel like you should know the history because there's so much that leads into other things in professional wrestling. I'm not saying that you got to be a brainiac like Vet here about it, but you should know your history, especially about people like Paul Ellering. Yeah, just kind of blew my mind about that.
So I do have even today,
right?
You would think I don't know if I told you guys the story or not. So had to be last year. Went to see Pantera, and a couple of my friends had went. So we were out before the show started. We're in the wherever the run, whatever the entrance or whatever. We're talking and I see this girl and guy coming, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, look at my buddies, and I go, "Look, you guys know who this is?" And they're like, "No." And then she's getting closer. I'm like, "Really?" I go, "It's Shotzi." And they're like, "Who?" I go, "She wrestles for NXT in WWE." And so it was funny. So I didn't really draw, I didn't want to go, "Hey, Shotzi," or anything. So I kind of left it. So when they went to their seats, we were going to our seats, I saw her standing by herself. And so I walked over to talk to her, and I introduced myself. I said, I told her I was Robbie Idol. I wrestled, years ago, and watched her and talked to her. Sweetheart of a girl. I wish I would have asked her for a picture, but I didn't want to ask for a picture because I didn't want to try to draw attention.
Right.
People thinking now they kind of look at her and go, "Hey, I know that girl." So I was trying not to draw attention to her, because I just didn't want her to get bombarded. But I was kind of surprised that, that either maybe if somebody did recognize her, they just kind of gave her space,
right,
and stuff. But they didn't, they didn't pick up on her. But like I talked to her for about 10 minutes, and she was just a sweetheart.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of wrestling fans I just don't know about today. But Terry said that must be why I never sell merchandise at my table. You know what, Terry? I wouldn't doubt it. I knew most people, these kids these days, if you ask them, man, you know that that short storyline between Lex Luger and Terry, people just don't know history anymore at all. Matter of fact, I was not too long ago, and we'll get back to SmackDown after this. Not too long ago, someone asked me to be a guest on their on their TikTok channel that they do their little wrestling thing. Sure. And they were talking about not today's or the top wrestlers, 10 top wrestlers from the past 10 years or 15 years. This was of all time from WWE. And the guys they had were guys from either the Attitude Era up until today. They didn't have Terry Funk there. They didn't have a lot of people there. And a lot of the names I mentioned that they should have up there, and they literally tried to argue with me. That's because you're old. No, dude, it's about the word who was the best of all time. Sorry, Stone Cold, no offense. I wouldn't consider him, in the top 3 of best of all time.
No.
Just wouldn't. But it is what it is. We're old, man. I guess that's what it is.
Yeah, but and again, nothing against Steve, but how can you compare Steve to a Ric Flair, a Harley Race, any of those guys? You can't,
Right. Right.
And it's nothing against Steve.
Right.
Right.
Right. And to your point, and I asked him a similar question. I said, how can you compare any of these guys to say that they are the best of all time if you don't know who these people are, the Harley Races, the Terry Funks that I mentioned? Because now who are you comparing them to? Right?
Right. And out of that era, the guy that you could compare to would probably, out of all of them from that era, and maybe even go a little bit before, would be Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
He would be the only one.
Right.
If somebody said, hey, Shawn Michaels, I wouldn't put him over a Flair or a Harley Race or Terry Funk, but I could see if he was in there, because he's probably the best out of that group.
Yeah. I agree.
And it's nothing against any of the other guys.
Right. Guys, let's get back to SmackDown. Next, we went to a video review of what happened with Priest and Truth winning the tag team titles. Backstage, we're seeing this was the best comedy of the night, in my opinion. Priest and R-Truth, and Truth, 6 inches or whatnot. And what are you doing in the clubhouse? Because Judgment Day is back. No, Judgment Day is not back. And then, Rhea Ripley comes up and, Priest is like, Mommy. And then Johnny Rowe is dumb. It was great. It was absolutely great until it wasn't. And of course, it wasn't so great once R-Truth left, in my opinion, and kind of went to a kiss-ass fest between Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. Rhea Ripley, oh, you got gold. Damian Priest, you're going to get gold. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Robbie, your thoughts on that segment, man?
Yeah, R-Truth was funny. He was probably the best thing. And the other person they could have left out was Jelly Roll. Because they're trying to make him a motivational speaker, his little hype speech and stuff. Me and Mike are going to disagree. I'm going to say this. I'll say this early on, and I may say it even later on. I just think he's overhyped. I'm sorry. I don't like the guy. I'm sorry. I don't understand why they're bringing him in. I'll leave it at that.
No, I will say this on that. As far as in professional wrestling, why? I know why. It's crossover shit.
Right.
Do I like it? I don't. But as far as him being talented in his own genre in music, look, I'm like you. I listen to hard stuff. I like metal, but I also appreciate people who are also talented. And I love blues music. And Jelly Roll has some great songs that kind of falls in that bluesy category. And I respect him for that. Fresh wrestling wise, as Terry just said, and I agree with him, should stick to music. And we'll actually get to that when we get to this match in a moment. Grizzle, you can respond to Robbie. Obviously, know you want to, and also about the segment.
I enjoyed the segment. Like you said, I thought it was funny building the clubhouse and Dominic and everything else. And yeah, it did turn into kind of a little towards the end there. So no. As far as Jelly Roll goes, though, I have no problem with him doing the crossover thing. It's fine. It brings in ratings. It gets people's attention. And we've seen through Unreal that the guy's willing to commit to what he's doing. He's not one of the celebrities like, back when, Machine Gun Kelly came in and Kevin Owens powerbombed him off the stage and he just rolled off the stage and walked away on camera. Jelly is actually at least committing himself to what he's doing and taking the time. So I applaud him for that. I like his music. I like his story. So, I'm all for Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll at WrestleMania, damn it.
Yeah. Robbie, we'll talk about that in a second. Granny Hulkster. Missed you. You haven't been here in a while, Granny. Thank you for joining us. Hello, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. We are.
I hope you're doing well, Granny.
Also, guys, next they've been playing this video package for a bit now. Tiffany Stratton, they're really pushing her right now, which is why I'm a little surprised about what happened later on. Seeing that video package for NXT and for Stand and Deliver. Backstage, Flair and Bliss with the Bellas argue about the finish. Bella says they won the belts. Flair says, I don't care. Fucking getting back the line. Grizzle, did we need this?
No.
I
This
agree.
is one of those that we did not need. It was not necessary. Nothing against it. I'm not saying it's because of the women. It just wasn't necessary.
Right. Didn't add anything to the show.
No, but
Robbie?
the best part of that segment was when Bliss took her flannel and threw it in her face. I did, for whatever reason, I enjoyed that.
I was going to say best part of the segment is because it was over, but
Guys, next we go Rhea Ripley to the ring. And then we see a video package of what happened with Jade, Nishin, and B-Fab. Rhea says that she didn't expect that from Michin and B-Fab, but she really doesn't care, and she calls them out to the ring to fight. Jade comes out with B-Fab and Michin, and Jade says that they don't care about all the boos the fans were giving them. They will not be drugged down. B-Fab says Rhea is selfish. Misha says she has put in the work just as long as Rhea Ripley, but yet Rhea Ripley is taking all of the spotlight. Jay says that they're there to kick Rhea's ass. Really, it's B-Fab who's going to be stepping up tonight to kick Rhea's ass. They talked to Nick Aldis. Nick made the match. So here we have the match. B-Fab versus Rhea Ripley. Before we get into that, guys, we go to the commercial, come back with Miz and Kip Wilson. Miz said that he's staying away locked in his room, away from all sharp objects. And Kip is like, yeah, because of the curse. And Miz is like, oh, no, not because of the curse. And then, of course, we see Danhausen pop up. And what does Kip have that Danhausen doesn't have? Kip goes to say whatever, Danhausen does what he hears, and curses Kip Wilson anyway. Guys, we then go to the match. Your thoughts? Let's do the whole little comedy backstage. You guys want to address that at all?
I mean, I do. I think he's funny. I like Danhausen, and they keep it short. So, So it's still comical.
Right. Grizzle?
I like Danhausen. And after that disastrous debut he had, they were able to kind of pick him up, clean him up, and make. So it's kind of like the debut just didn't happen. It was a bad way to bring him in, but now they're using him properly.
Right.
I'm sure he's going to be doing something at Mania. I don't know if he'll be wrestling, but I'm sure he'll have something to do at Mania out in the crowd because people like him now.
I have
no problem, and they're keeping it short and sweet, like Robbie said.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it's going to be something to do with the Miz. I don't think it's going to be a match, but I think that's how they're going to get Miz
segment. Yeah,
involved with Danhausen. Guys, we go to the match. Match was what it was. Grizzle, your thoughts on it?
Match was okay. I mean, we weren't able to do the show last week, so we weren't able to talk about it. We've made our comments before about B-Fab and Michin, and they need to go away for a bit. But instead, WWE actually went, well, let's make them heels. Let's align them with Jade. Okay, they gave them something a little different to play with. So I kind of like what they're doing with them now. And I like the speech about, I've been here as long as you, but you always stole the spotlight. So they're doing something different with B-Fab and Michin this time, kind of lining with Jade. I like that Jade has a little backup that's believable. I would believe, B-Fab and Michin over some of the other backup that, girls have had. So, I like what they're doing with them.
This is my problem with it.
I'm sure you have one.
I do. Because one, in a lot of ways, it doesn't make sense. I see kind of why and where they went with this. But you know what this also tells me? It also really kind of tells me that WWE creative and whoever else is kind of throwing up their hands with Michin and B-Fab and saying, we really don't know what to do with you guys. You're not main event talent. At best, you're kind of mid-card talent. It looks like I don't know. That's just kind of how I perceive it, Robbie.
Yeah, I mean, because I got to agree with you because it makes no sense why you put those two with her, with Jade. And I got to say,
let me stop you for a second, real quick. Unless, and I thought about this tonight, it's all a ruse. It's all a ruse. And at WrestleMania, we're going to see Michin and B-Fab because of their dislike for Jade, because they've been having this thing against Jade for a while now. They end up turning on Jade and costing her the title. That'd be the only thing that I'm like, okay. But Robbie, and I apologize, man, I don't mean to do that to you, but why would you join somebody that's always beating your ass, especially one that's maybe not done it so honorably, right?
Right, and that's I mean, I guess I've been hanging around you too long, KG, that now I dig deeper into this stuff. So that's why it doesn't make sense to me, like what you just said. You beat my ass and this and that. Now all of a sudden I'm your part. I'm teaming up with you. That's why it just didn't. Like there was no. It's all of a sudden okay. You beat my ass for the last month. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden I'm thrown with you. So there was like no kind of you didn't even give us a little bit of a transition, or right. Whatever. So that's why it just didn't make sense. The match was okay. But I agree with you. I don't think they know what to do with B-Fab and Michin. That's just kind of, they are where they are because they're just, it is nothing against them. They're just not over.
Look, I'll be honest with you.
They're not like over with like say a Tiffany, a Charlotte, right. Or like like in that, and it's nothing against me. It's just what it is.
And I agree with you that they're not. But this is the thing. I personally think that B-Fab and Michin are better than what WWE is giving them credit for. I do. And I think that they should have been heels for a while, because I think that if they would have been heels and gotten that heat, once they turned, they could have been, they'll never be over, in my opinion, as a Tiffy strap, right? But they could have been over. But the problem with them being heels with Jade is what we've seen tonight. We thought B-Fab looked bad against that match against Jade when Jade dominated her. She looked just as bad tonight, if not worse. This is not going to help things. Grizzle, do you agree, disagree with what I'm saying? And as well as, what do you think is the possibility that this will all kind of line up together, that we're going to see that B-Fab and Michin was kind of fucking around on Jade and basically going to help Rhea do something to help Rhea win that title?
I don't see that. I'll be honest with you. And as far as, the two of them joining up, as I said, they're doing something different with them. They didn't just kind of keep them getting their asses kicked, and a simple explanation of, they couldn't beat, we can't beat them. If you can't beat them, join them. It's an old standard. And that's basically what this is. They can't beat it. Jade got to him and they went, you know what? Maybe she's got the right idea. So,
right.
I'll go with it. It's something different. It's not just them trying to beat somebody and we just kind of go, this is never going to happen.
See, but my problem isn't that they joined Jade because they couldn't beat her. It's how they did it. 1 week, Misha's trying to beat her ass with a freaking
kendo
stick.
Robbie knows all about those.
Next week, it's like there was no slow story into it.
Yeah, but right. But I needed to show Michin how to swing that thing because she only hit her once and then dropped it. It was like, keep swinging for the fence, bitch. This is what you got to do. Don't drop it. You keep swinging.
Hit the fucking home run. Come on.
Guys, next we go to a video package. And we didn't get a chance to talk about this either. And I want to talk about what happened with Fatu and Drew with the car accident that followed off the ledge. My God. All right, let's talk about the car accident for a second. So the way they even made the accident look, it looked terrible. And if your door's already open and you can just get to Fatu, why are you going on the hood and pulling the windshield and like, why? And then they have these guys fall off of the ledge, off of whatever they were on, pretty high up. It's like, okay, are these guys just are not capable of dying? Are they Superman? It was ridiculous, in my opinion. It was overdone and not done well. Robbie, what do you think about what they did with this car accident, the falling off of the edge off of whatever they were on? Yeah. Why were they on it?
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, I think it, like it was overboard, all of it, so it was overboard. But you also notice like they kept the fence, like, so they had the fence blocking whatever, their landing pad, whatever.
Right.
But it just, everything was kind of like just overboard.
Right. I agree. Sometimes less is more. And they could have done so much and made it look so much better if they just would have done less. Grizzle?
Hey, the Giant fell off the roof of Cobo Arena and went out to wrestle Hulk Hogan 15 minutes later. Okay.
If I was on a podcast then,
they barely scuffed themselves. That was such a little ledge. Jesus. Come on. No, it was kind of weird the way they did it. For me, it was just the fact that they kept fighting through the entire show. It's like at no point in time could they ever stop these guys. How did they get to the ledge? Right. And the car accident, yeah, that was my thing. I'm like, you see it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, how the hell did he pull him through the windshield? Right. Did I miss something?
Right.
I'm like, why would you pull him? But okay, hey, do whatever you're gonna do. It was kind of an odd fight that just couldn't get broke up, and it just kept continuing. Right. But that ledge, like I said, yeah, that's a scuff. They're fine.
Yeah. Now, we stayed backstage with Drew McIntyre with Kathy Kelly. Drew says that he's not there to fight because he's still hurt, but he doesn't care because if Fatu wants to start, that he's going to finish it. And he said that, Fatu took everything from him. Everything. And when a man has lost everything, that's what makes him most dangerous. You know what? It was a decent promo. Um, Drew's Drew. I mean, he's decent on the mic. Grizzle.
It was an okay promo. I had no issue with it. But didn't Drew quit like last week? Didn't he? I quit. I'm leaving.
Yep.
He didn't leave very long.
No.
And I think this is the third time he's quit.
Yep.
I quit. I'm back.
I think that they should reunite the 3-man band.
Well, Heath Slater has kids. Come on.
I mean, I feel bad for Heath Slater. He's the loser of the group, if you think about it, because the other two world champions, poor Heath Slater, still living in trailer.
And probably Heath was one of the better. He was a better worker out of maybe not Drew, but definitely over the other guy.
Yeah. What did you think about this promo, Robbie?
It was okay. I mean, it had its purpose. It was,
The next segment, guys, is where SmackDown lost an entire grade.
Okay.
Versus Kip Wilson. Kip says Jelly crossed the line. He needs to defend his mother. He reads his point. I had no problem with that. I thought it was funny. I did. Fans were obviously behind the Jelly Roll during the match. Jelly Roll's no Logan Paul, though. Jelly did the jelly to belly. That was funny when Wade Barrett called it that. Jelly Roll did a lot of Dusty Roll-like things, especially those punches. Jelly Roll kicks out of one of Kip Wilson's finishers. And then Jelly beats Kip Wilson clean. I have a problem with that. I'm not a fan of Kip Wilson, but he's an athlete. He's a professional wrestler. Jelly Roll is not even at the beginning stages of being an athlete when it comes to Kip Wilson. Bad call, in my opinion. This should have been a disqualification or something if they didn't want Jelly to get beat. But Jelly Roll should have not beat Kip Wilson clean. I think that's a slap in the face of professional wrestling. Robbie, I'm going to go to you first because you're a pro wrestler.
Yeah, definitely. I'm surprised Bob hasn't typed in here, but here's my thought of it. And again, I understand you're trying to bring people, Jelly Rolls fans over, whatever. I hate when they bring. I will give Logan Paul his credit. I would give Jelly Roll I give him props that yes, he has taken it more serious than a lot of the other people they have brought over. I'd have to say in this part, and people can say I'm an ass, a dick, whatever you want to say.
Cool.
If I was Kip in this thing and I was told that Jelly Roll is going over, I would have looked at creative and said, not a chance in hell. And if they didn't like it, I probably would have got fired on the spot. I would have just said, fuck it. There's no way you're putting them over. I agree with you. Yes, a disqualification, something like that should not have gone clean over them because, like you said, Jelly Roll is not even close to being an athlete. Not even close. Not trying to take nothing away from him. But as far as athletic ability goes and stuff, he's not close, and my personal opinion, you bringing these guys in, it'd be like you're going to bring in some movie star and the same thing. Dude, he's a movie star. He's not depending on who it is. I mean, because some of the movie stars do have athletic backgrounds.
Right.
But Jelly Roll doesn't have it. And for me, it was a big slap in the face, even the Kip.
I mean, how do you feel about him kicking out of one of Kip Wilson's finishers. That made that finisher look weak. And again, I know I think way too much into it, but I do. My brain goes where it goes. Everybody Kip Wilson has beat with that finisher as a professional wrestler has now looked very weak tonight.
Right. And I mean, that there was no reason why Jelly Roll should have kicked out of that finisher. Right. I mean, it isn't. Now you're kind of making Jelly Roll look like he's one of the top, one of your top talent guys.
Yeah. Grizzle, go ahead, yell at us, man.
I got nothing. I got nothing. I didn't even realize it was a match at first. I'm like, oh, they're just going to go back and forth again. And my son, no, Dad, it's an actual match. They're wrestling. I go, okay, I'll watch it. It was entertaining. This is one of the matches of the show that I actually enjoyed. I thought it was fun. I think you're overthinking, as always. You're overthinking it. It was fun. And you got to remember, you say disqualification. Don't forget, he was cursed. So, of course, he's going to have to lose. Danhausen cursed him. So, Kit Wilson got cursed. Of course, he's going to. And that's a hard stretch to try to make that one make sense. But, no, overall, I thought it was fun. I didn't mind the match. Like I said, Jelly Roll's at least shown that, he's willing to make the commitment. He's not just coming in and going, oh, look at me, I'm a wrestler. No, we've seen him train in the Performance Center. All the trainers have said he takes it seriously. So, you know what? I'll give him his props. You mentioned Logan Paul. Logan Paul is a once in a lot. That guy is just, the only thing close to, I would say more maybe compare Jelly Roll to say Bad Bunny, who did a very good job in his matches that he's had. So, but you can't compare anything to Logan Paul because Logan Paul is just that kid was just born for it, and we're seeing that now. But no, overall, I thought the match was fun. I had no issue with it. I don't understand why Jelly Roll comes out to Toby Keith's "Who's Your Daddy," but I would think he might find one of his cool songs to come out too. But hey, you do what you do. The fans enjoyed it. I think Jelly's around for a bit. And I'm fine with it.
But a question for you though.
Yes.
To you, Vet, because KG and I kind of feel the same. But do you not think it's a slap in the face to, like, say, many of us that have wrestled in the past and stuff? Think about, and I mean, I got it. He took it serious too. Andy Kaufman. Could you imagine if they'd have put Andy Kaufman over Jerry Lawler? I mean, do you not think though that it's kind of a slap in the face to the business?
Well, see, you mentioned Kaufman, and in certain ways, I think they actually put Kaufman over Lawler. Not one-on-one, 1, 2, 3 in the ring, but they gave Kaufman the upper hand a few times, which was fine.
It's the way they did it. It's the way they did it because it was one of the things that they put Kaufman over Lawler as far as outsmarting him. But when it came to fighting, no, Kaufman got his ass handed to him.
Well, yeah, but you got to understand, though, that's Jerry Lawler. This is Kit Wilson. Okay, Kit Wilson isn't, I mean, I like the guy, but if this was Jelly Roll and he defeated, Javon Evans or Trick or Ilya Dragunov, then I might go, okay, what the fuck? But it's Kit Wilson.
Yeah, hold on, Grizzle.
I see where you're going. I see where you're going, Robbie.
Kit Wilson, hold on. Kit Wilson is part of a tag team that they're going to put, once again, in contendership for the tag team titles.
Maybe.
You mean to tell me that I'm supposed to believe? Am I supposed to believe that a man who's been beat by Jelly Roll could actually be a champion?
I think we're going to see that Elton Prince is going to be on the, future endeavored list after WrestleMania. Unfortunately, I think they're just going to push Kit Wilson as a single. I hate to say it, but I think the Pretty Deadly time frame is over. But no, Robbie, I get what you're saying, and yes, but you got to look at it this way though. Look at wrestling in the past. Come on, David Arquette was the WCW World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah,
it's not like this hasn't been done before, and I don't agree with it, but it's just kind of the way, and it's entertaining. I look at more as an entertainment than an actual like competitive match. So, but no, I see where you're coming from. No, as a wrestler, it would totally be like, well,
right. And I forgot about Arquette. I mean, that was horrible too.
There's been a lot of horrible. Drew Carey in the Royal Rumble. I mean, come on, we've all seen.
But doesn't it make like all where these guys are like supposed to be professional athletes? So correct me if I'm wrong. okay, it would be like me being there and whatever. I'm the guy that's losing all the time, but I'm there. And now you're bringing in some guy that doesn't really do this for a living, and he's able to beat me. Well, if he's able to beat me, why am I there? How did I make it there? That's, maybe it's overthinking it, not looking at it as it's entertainment. But the guys that are on the roster, they're athletes. Now you're bringing this guy in that really isn't an athlete, and you're going to put him over.
Like I said, I 100% agree with what you're saying. And yes, I would be offended and I would take kind of a slap of face, but this is the day of sports entertainment.
Right.
And a guy like Jelly Roll going over is going to get attention more than Kit Wilson beating Jelly Roll. So, like I said, I didn't even know this is going to be a match. I thought it was just going to be another one-on-one, like talking smack back and forth, because I loved that last week. I like Jelly's little comments about, she had my belly on her back. I thought it was funny. That's a way to put Jelly Roll over. Right. But I mean, as far as this goes, I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't think Kit Wilson's gonna, lose any credibility. He's still Kit Wilson. He lost to Jelly Roll. People have lost oddball matches before. I don't think it's going to propel Jelly Roll to the top as the world heavyweight champion. So in that case, as a one-off, I'm fine with it. If Jelly started doing this, started beating a lot of people, like I said, he beat Johnny Gargano. He beats he goes to NXT and beats Ethan Page. Then I'm going to be kind of going, okay, guys, slow it, put the brakes on. But for this, it's a fun little feud with Kit Wilson. You're toxic and Jelly Roll beats him. It's okay. I don't see an issue with it entertainment wise. So, because we've seen far worse. As far as I'm concerned, putting the belt on Arquette was just Jesus.
Yeah, that was terrible. Guys, next we go to the backstage again with Macrodona showing him getting ready for the match. Then we get a video of Roman Reigns and CM Punk from Raw. Here's a question about this. It popped in my head. Start with you, Grizzle.
Okay.
This is just I wouldn't even say fantasy thing because I'm not saying I want this to happen, but I'm just curious if you think this is a possibility. What's the chances? Obviously, with Roman Reigns, the Usos, bloodline thing, right? Man, what is the chances that we see Paul Heyman at WrestleMania somehow get involved with this and cost CM Punk his title?
They did that last year. I don't think they'll do a repeat again. I think Heyman's part of Mania is probably going to be with Brock, and then they're going to have Austin Theory and Logan Paul versus Usos. That's going to be his involvement. I don't think they're going to do a turn because we saw it last year. Right. And I don't think they're going to repeat the same thing again because they don't tend to do that. They don't rehash the same thing from that soon. Right. So, no, I don't see any interference from Paul Heyman because that would be just a repeat of what happened last year.
Robbie, you agree?
No, because creative, I think creative right now, my view on creative is I think they're lazy at times. So if it happened, it wouldn't surprise me. See, could you let me throw this at you? Could you see them forming the bloodline again at WrestleMania?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No. God, no.
I can see that happening.
No.
I mean, think about this. Right, the very next segment, MFT with Solo saying everything he does is for the family. Everyone needs to be on the same page. And then he apologized for messing up last week. And he's like, who wouldn't do that? Roman Reigns. It's kind of weird. Then Carmelo Hayes shows up, and I apologize at this point. My wife had brought food. So I think it was Toma Tonga that Carmelo Hayes. Was it?
Yeah, it was Tama.
Yep. It says, hey, when are you going to answer the challenge, or are you waiting for Solo to give you permission? And then, of course, we see at that point Aleister Black and his wife. Now,
we had Nakamura too, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Nakamura. Now, I missed with both Nakamura and what Aleister Black said to Toma. So you guys help me out here.
I did not see Nakamura. As far as Aleister Black, it's just more of the same. They're basically doing with Aleister Black what they were doing with Karrion Kross and Scarlett.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Same
It's
thing.
the same shtick. So I don't even pay attention.
Yeah.
They're doing the same exact storyline.
Yeah.
With Nakamura, it's basically, I think, when are you gonna stand up to the challenge and or get away from,
Right.
So I think it was along those lines. And then whatever Tonga or whatever, he kind of came over and asked, "Is everything okay?"
Guys, we go back to the ring for the open challenge for the U.S. title. Bill Hayes. And then, to everyone's surprise, I think we were all surprised because I wasn't expecting it. Sami Zayn's music hits. Holy shit. Before the match gets started, though, the lights go out. Trick Williams' music hits. What's the deal with the fucking lights going out all the time? First AEW's doing it all the time. Now WWE's starting to do it. Anyway, Trick music hits. He gets a massive pop. He goes, sits near the color commentary table to watch the match. Sami Zayn during the match gets booed. There was some Sami Zayn sucks chants. The DDT, Carmelo Hayes did, bouncing from the rope. Fucking wow. During the match, fans are chanting for Trick Williams. Not even in a match. They're still chanting his name. Again, Carmelo Hayes, man, a great looking dropkick as Sammy's coming from the top rope. What cracks me up is when Sammy does the Blue Thunder move. How the announce tape, the color commentary, and Sami Zayn are always so shocked when people kick out of it. I'd be more shocked if someone got pinned from it. When was the last time you see someone take a 3 count? And then, of course, we've seen Trick get involved by throwing the title in the ring with a ref. Well, Sammy gets the title and then gives it to the ref. Trick then hits Carmelo, leaving Sammy. The ref didn't see it. Sammy takes advantage and gets the Luva kick, gets the 1, 2, 3. I did not see this coming, guys. I was shocked.
Me too. In a pleasant way.
Before we get into the match, though, have we ever seen a match between Carmelo and Finn Balor, by the way?
I don't think so.
No. I think that'd be one hell of a match. I thought about it while I was watching this match. I bet you Carmelo and Finn Balor would be one hell of a match together. Anyway, guys, I thought it was, you know what? I know it was Sami Zayn. I'm not even invested in Sami Zayn that much. He's not terrible. I like him. It's just I'm over him. But this was a good match. And by God, they shocked me. They fucking swerved me. I give them 2 thumbs up for this. Grizzle, your thoughts?
First off, this was my favorite match of the entire show. Just as an athletic competition, because whether you like Sammy or not, you got to admit when he gets in the ring, he can work. Yeah, and it was a great match with Carmelo. So the match itself was great. I figured, okay, we're setting up a triple threat somehow. So I was expecting when the belt went in, disqualification, something happens that's going to set up a triple threat. I think it's still going to set up a triple threat somehow. Yeah. But Sammy getting the belt was kind of a shock, and I was happy with that. I like to be surprised a little bit, so I have no problem with the title switch. I can see Trick getting the title at Mania. I think that could be his Mania moment, is defeating Sammy for the, and then they can do the Carmelo Trick, matches, which we've seen before, obviously, and we're going to see again, but it's going to be something a little bit of a mix different. But no, this is my favorite match of the show.
Now, I don't think any of us was surprised when this led to the Sammy versus Trick announcement by Nick Aldis. Here's the question, Robbie. Do you think that we have 22 days, 3 weeks before WrestleMania? In the meantime, do you think that we're going to see the Open Challenge continue, this time being held by Sami Zayn? Or are we going to see Sami Zayn lean more into the heel Sami Zayn by not defending the title?
Well, first I have to. I think the match of the night was the Bellas and Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I have to agree with
your meds, Robbie.
I have to agree with that this was the match of the night. Like I said, I'm not a Sami Zayn fan, but the match was good. Right. I figured, like you did, Trick's out there. We're going to get a disqualification. It's going to set up a 3-way for WrestleMania. That was the route I was thinking they were going to go. So, I was a little surprised that they put Sammy over, which was a swerve because they swerved me because I figured it was going to a triple threat. Match was good. I had no issues with the match. What was the question again? I kind of
saying, now that we've seen him win.
Oh, okay, Sammy turning.
The challenge. Do you think that he's gonna stop doing it and kind of lean more into being that heel, Sammy?
He might. I mean, it would make sense if he did till Mania to hang on to the belt. I mean, if he did do that, I could see it, and I mean that would make sense to do it. So creative, if you're listening, there you go. Instead of being lazy and keeping the damn open challenge, just have them knock it under the belt.
Yeah. And not to interrupt, but there's a simple way to do it though. You just have Nick Aldis say this is going to be a title match at Mania. All open challenges are off until after Mania because he wants Trick to have a title shot.
Right.
Simple, creative, boom, and then you can just do some storyline between the 2 or 3 of them until Mania. It's a simple way to do it, and I hope that's the way they do it.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, if Nick they don't do it that way, I mean, it would make sense for Sammy to do that. But it was kind of cool that they did the swerve and everything. It just because at least it wasn't like a lot of us thought, oh shit, here we go, disqualification, set the 3-way up for WrestleMania. Sammy gets his moment, and so we got swerved, which is good.
Right. Guys, next backstage, Fatu and Kathy Kelly. He said that he didn't come to talk. And that he wants to talk to the people live. We go to the commercial. Come back. Pittsburgh Steelers gets a huge pop. They're shown. Backstage, Sami Zayn, Nick Aldis. This is what they announced about him and Trick Williams. I don't think anybody was surprised about that. Fatu goes to the ring. Fatu is limping, and he looks beat up from last week at Raw. They show the video of the attack again. Fans solid behind Fatu. Fatu says that he's been busted open, cracked ribs, all because of Drew. Fatu says Drew was trying to take food from his kids. Drew kicking Fatu, hitting with the belt, the car, throwing him from the building. Won't stop Fatu. He is still standing. He will dog walk Drew every week, according to what Fatu had to say. Drew comes out, but stops at the entrance. Doesn't want to go to the ring. He says Fatu is playing the victim when Drew was really the victim. Drew is always accused of being guilty when he's not. But Fatu is the actual criminal because Fatu stole everything from Drew. Drew then says, screw your fucking kids, Fatu. Nick Aldis then we see what happened. And then Nick Aldis makes a match at WrestleMania. But this is no ordinary match because those two guys are liabilities. And WWE does not want to be responsible. So this is going to be an unsanctioned match. I'm kind of looking forward to this match. I really am, Robbie.
Yeah, I mean, kind of curious to see how they're going to do this.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. So hopefully they do it well, if hopefully creative doesn't get lazy on this one and let them go. Right. But it should be, I'm looking forward to this one. It'll be one of those matches I'd be looking forward to more than, say, a few of the big time matches, just to see how they do it. And
do you think WWE is going to do the turn off the lights and turn it back on thing?
That's what I was gonna say that.
It'd be kind of hard to do in an outdoor stadium, but
Oh, that's right. They're an outdoor stadium.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and that's why I wasn't. I was gonna go there and go. Yeah, are they gonna turn the lights on and off? But you're in the stadium, and I don't know that you could do it in a stadium because, like, if you turn the lights off, then they take it a while to come back on.
Because it's a little bit different on that one. So
yeah, so I mean, like, because I think Allegiant, that's where the Raiders play, and I think it's domed. So, but I mean, I think if you turned out the lights, and from what I remember, like when I played ball and stuff in the stadiums, if the lights went out, it took them a little bit to come back on.
Well, if they're as big as AEW, they'd figure it out.
Okay, next.
Grizzled, is this a match that you're looking forward to WrestleMania?
I think it'll be fun. I'm sure Drew and Fatu are going to come up with some cool ways to, have some carnage. And like I told you last week when you and I were talking about the AEW, I love a little chaos. So hey, let's have a little unsanctioned. Let's let them do some stupid shit. I like chaos in my wrestling on occasion.
But will we have color? You think we have color in this match?
You're gonna have to.
WWE.
This is true. I think you're gonna have to. And they've been doing color recently.
Their only reason there was color between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre in that cage match was an accident.
Yeah, but you had last week you had color from Fatu, so I mean, I would think I know they don't like it, but if you're going to do an unsanctioned match, I think you would have to have it.
Right. By the way, I don't know what I was thinking about when I brought up Aleister Black with the whole talking. That was like, fuck. Aleister Black showed up in the next segment, actually. It was the, backstage, we go, Jelly Roll told Macadona that he feels bad. But he also talked to Cody that Cody's on his way. Matt's like, if you guys want to fucking hold hands, I don't care. I want to fight. That's when Aleister Black and Selena showed up. Sorry, guys. And like you said, they're just kind of doing the whole thing they were doing before with the other two. Guys, anything you want to talk about in the segment?
Other than I didn't need to see Jelly Roll for a time.
Right. Jelly Roll a lot, but
sorry, Mike. I know you like him, but hey, let's put it this way.
I like hamburgers too, but I don't want to see them. I don't want to have one every day. So.
I know you like them, but I know different genres of music. But in my opinion, Jelly Roll couldn't carry Tatiana's or Courtney LaPlante's teabags to the arena. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Guys, we now backstage, Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green. Chelsea says that she wants to make, her and Tiff a pair. Tiff says, no thanks. Whatever. You guys want to talk about it? You can.
Well, I get a kick out of Chelsea when she called her tacky time. I do. I like Chelsea. I mean, you wish they'd do more with. I mean,
I just feel bad because here we are. Chelsea is in a wheelchair, and now, as you see in the next segment, Randy Orton pretty much killed Macadona, her husband. So poor couple. Julia with Kiana James against Tiffany Stratton in a non-title match. I was a little surprised that Julia went over. Grizzle?
I wasn't. I had no issue with it.
I didn't have issue with it. I was just surprised.
I wouldn't even say I was surprised. I think it's going to. They're going to have a match at Mania. I think for the title, and that'll be where Tiffany goes over. They're save a Tiffany victory for a big show. Wait. So I had no issue with it. It didn't really surprise me either.
Now here's a question: Do you think we're going to see Tiffany and Chelsea Green?
I don't think Chelsea Green's ready yet.
In a team, as far as helping Tiffany, both don't like Julia.
Well, maybe. I mean, we could see that. We're not going to see Chelsea out of the wheelchair yet. And I love the wheelchair stuff with like Tiffany immediately going to put her foot up to push her away, and they're like, no, not this time.
Yeah, I mean the match was decent match. Robbie.
Yeah, match was all right. I figured I figured they'd do a somehow it would be a disqualification. I figured Julia was going over, but like with it, or I mean, Tiff probably would have went over, but disqualify, with Kiana James getting involved and stuff like that. So I was kind of surprised they put Julia over cleanly.
Now, a couple of things. Guys, what was that move off the ropes? I don't know if that was a miss move or that was an actual move. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do know. I kind of tried to go back and watch it again. If you watch it and you go back and watch it, it was the way she took the bump off of it, because if you watch it, it did look like, okay, I hadn't seen it looked like a half-ass stunner or whatever, the way it was, but like she kind of put her head off the middle of the ring, like her head was across her stomach or whatever, and Julia just, I think, oversold it.
Mm-hmm. Also, and it's not just with Tiffany Stratton. I've been seeing this a lot lately, even on AEW. What is up with all the DX movement lately with the suck it thing? Like, this has been happening a lot. AEW, WWE, like.
Yeah, I don't understand that. To me, and correct me if I'm wrong with both of you, I hate it. I hate like when people will kind of take other moves, like people's stuff. So like the suck it move, because you see, like you said, AEW, people in AEW see guys and girls in WWE. And I hate it when like they did even guys doing the too sweet thing from the NWO and stuff. It's like, if you want to do something, come up with your own, get creative and come up with something from your own.
Yeah. Grizzled, have you noticed kind of an uptick in the whole DX thing here lately?
I haven't really noticed anything, but if that's the case, I agree with Robbie. Find your own shtick.
Beautiful Swan Time by Tiffany.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, but because I went back on that. I thought she killed her on it, the initial. But I went back and rewound it because then I thought, when I saw the first one, I went, oh, shit. But if you go back and rewind it, you can definitely tell she did tuck her head and back hit the mat and stuff. But it was, the way it looked, initial look, it was like, wow. Yeah.
And of course, as I said, Julia wins due to distraction from Kiana James. Guys, we go back with Kathy Kelly with Bailey and Lyra to talk about why they were there at SmackDown. Basically, the answer in a nutshell was to put the tag division on notice. I don't know why, because they're not winning, but whatever.
Just another promo to waste time.
Yeah. Yep. Randy's on the phone saying, see you soon. Video of Brock and Obafemi from Raw. Next, we finally go to the main event. Orton versus Macadona. And that was Zack Ryder who showed up tonight, not Macadona. What I find a little, I guess, interesting or made me smile a little bit because, a little nostalgic, I guess, was Cadona using his cast as a weapon, kind of like what Cowboy Bob Orton did back in the day. I was surprised that they even let Cardona get as much offense as he did. He actually got the Rough Rider finisher on Randy. When Randy was just beating the living snot out of Macadona, the fans, one more time, you're not getting the fans to treat Randy like he's a heel. They're not going to boo him. Not going to happen. Of course, Randy won that post-match. Cody Buss pulls up. Cody's shown walking to the ring. Security tries to stop him. Jelly Roll shakes Cody's hand. That gave away right there what was going to happen. By the way, the fans were booing Cody Rhodes. He got a pop at times, but the fans were booing Cody Rhodes. Randy, of course, was shown kicking the snot out of the security as well. Cody's music hits. Aldous in the security tries to stop Cody from going to the ring. Cody's like, I just want to talk. Cody gets to inside the ring, and then, of course, they didn't talk. Cody and Orton fights. Fans chanting for Randy. Jelly Roll enters the ring, gets RKO'd. Kevin pops when that happens. Yes, I did. That was great. Randy leaves, and the fans give him a massive pop. Grizzle, start with you, man.
Okay, first off, I'm going to redo how you did your segment. Orton wins the match. It's like, okay. I looked at my phone. I'm like, oh, we got 12 minutes left. Shit. Okay, here we go. You see the bus pull up on the screen. Okay. Then we go to picture in picture. Picture in picture. Cody walking down a hallway. Picture in picture. Cody walking down another hallway. Picture in picture. Cody talking to Jelly Roll for a second. Picture in picture. Randy Orton in the ring arguing with the security for a minute. Picture in picture. Cody walking down the hallway. Did we need this in picture in picture? Absolutely not. You could have seen the bus pull up or to cut to commercial. You come back, then you play the music. We didn't need to see Cody. I'm walking down the hallway. I'm walking down this hallway. I'm going to talk to Jelly Roll for a second. Now I'm going to go to the ring. We didn't need that. I was watching. In fact, I was actually playing on my phone because I treated it like a commercial, and after a minute or so, didn't give a shit.
Grizzle, not to sorry to interrupt you, but this is what killed me, man. You said 12 minutes, right? And 12 minutes of fucking nothing. Now I'm thinking we have so much time left because let's go back to segment when Randy's on the phone and says, see you soon. So I'm like, who's going to show up that's going to be on Randy's side tonight?
Not until the night before Mania.
You know,
SmackDown before Mania is when we'll find out. That's my
opinion on that. And I did that, but just the way they did it, because again, we had 12 minutes left. Mm-hmm. This is a long time for a bunch of
4 minutes of picture in picture of Cody walking down the hallway.
Yeah.
And the end, I'll finish my comment with this. My son had the comment of the night for me. They end with an RKO and Jelly. I'm out. And he left. I'm like 14 years old. An RKO on Jelly. Over. And off he left. I was like, okay. And
what I like about that, though, is when he RK'd Jelly Roll and he got out the ring, he had the biggest smile on his face when he did it. It was great. Robbie?
Yeah. You know, that you kind of knew what was going to happen with Cardona and Randy. And then when you saw, here was my issue with it. And Cody's bus drive up. Cody comes out and he's just walking. Now, if I'm going after you, I'm going to run to the ring. Okay?
Yeah, I want to make sure that I can get to you before you leave.
Right?
They had time for commercials. Hello.
You know, at least, you know, you kind of think you would at least jog to the ring. You know, like, and why would you shake hands with Jelly? You just kind of, you know, push them off to the side and keep going. And, you know, Nick gets in your way, security, you kind of push them. My funny thing was, like, when Cody's music hit, I'm thinking, oh, is he going to go through his whole, you know, routine before he hits the ring and do the thing down and, you know, all that? I'm waiting for him to do his little whatever before he got it. And I went, well, at least I'll give you credit. You kept walking and you went to the ring at least. You know, I didn't have a problem with Randy hitting the RKO on Jelly Roll. It was good how they continued the fight, even though, you know, security trying to hold them. I mean, that looked good. So, and then like Randy laughing on the way out of the ring after he hit the RKO on Jelly Roll. Yeah. But yeah, some of the stuff they do just doesn't make sense, you know?
No, and I tell you, let's compare for a moment before we wrap this up. Let's compare what I say the two main events. Main event for night 1 and main event for night 2, which I'm assuming is going to be both for the, you know, the champion, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and then CM Punk and Roman Reigns. I don't know if they're meaning for it to feel this way, But to CM Punk, Roman Reigns feels so much bigger than the Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. To me, it does, especially after tonight. Because look how they've been booking these segments for Randy or for CM Punk and Roman Reigns and what they've been giving us compared to what they've given us with Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. One, we've seen Randy turn heel and beat the living snot out of Cody Rhodes. And then it was 2 weeks before we see Cody Rhodes back. We see what Randy did last week. And I love Randy. So anytime we get Randy, it's great. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, man. It seems like they're definitely putting more money on the CM Punk Roman Reigns feud versus Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, which surprises me because I thought Cody Rhodes was their dream guy, their money boy.
Dude, they're promoting the match on the Tonight Show. Roman Reigns was on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon last night, and he cut a promo on CM Punk saying, Phil, you're at home, and you're watching. Wait a minute, why is he there and I'm here? Because I'm a bigger star than you. And so they're promoting it on the Tonight Show. I
didn't even know that.
Yeah, Roman and Punk is the bigger match in their eyes.
Robbie, does that surprise you at all?
Yeah, in a way, because it's not a knock on Punk or Roman. I mean, because when after a while, once you saw Roman, back in the day, kid's going to be a star. That if they handle him right, this kid's got, they push him, he's going to be a big star.
Right.
But like you said, Cody's their golden boy. Randy's been there. And I mean, you think of his history, his grandfather, his dad, being with WWF. So, and then Randy coming up through there, that you would think, that they would be a bigger draw as far because even Cody never really worked for WCW or anything. He just worked AEW and WWE. So he's their gold, like you said, their golden child. And, Randy coming up through the, WWE and everything. So you would think they would have kind of said, okay, these guys have been, we're more connected. Granted, maybe I'm wrong because, maybe not with Punk. Yeah, we brought Roman up through the ranks and he's always been a WWE guy. But, you had Punk come and go and stuff like that. Yeah, you had Cody come and go. But I would have thought they would have been, but maybe I'm wrong. And because, I mean, if you look at it, and maybe I am wrong, I don't understand it, how over CM Punk is and why.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's okay, but I just don't understand where, how over he really is. I mean, Roman, because I get it, because I even saw it way back, when you saw him after the first couple of years, you went, and they handle this kid right, he will be a big star. So.
Well, I don't think CM Punk is over. Well, I mean, he's over, but look, and we'll wrap up with this. When Roman Reigns flattened CM Punk Monday night, fans were chanting one more time.
Yeah.
So
I think that's kind of their thing these days.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, because when you see whoever gets hit, whatever, they're always screaming one more time.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Guys, I'll be honest with you. Because of Jelly Roll beating Kip Wilson and because of
Kit.
Is Kit or Kip?
Kit.
Well, same thing,
K-I-T.
whatever. Yeah, Kip, whatever.
Okay.
Who cares? He got beat by Jelly Roll.
Yeah, that's what
He got beat by Jelly Roll.
Yeah, right. So
KB and Tommy Idol.
Yeah.
But
between that and between the fact that I just don't like what they did to close the show last night, I'm going to give it a C-. And this is no reflection on the talent because none of this was the talent's fault. This is all booking. This is all creative. C-. Robbie?
Yeah, I just didn't need to see Jelly Roll most of the night and him hearing his inspirational speeches and stuff. So that kind of, going over, Kit, whatever. I mean, because he lost to Jelly Roll, it really doesn't matter. But that, a lot of promos. I kind of thought the way that Raw was, because Raw was good.
Mhm.
I figured that, okay, they're gonna take SmackDown and try to make it as good as that. I was expecting a little bit more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. A C-.
Yep. Grizzle.
I'm gonna go with a C-, but damn it, I talk to God when I need a favor. Somebody save me.
Now, you do know that. I see this coming. I think it's going to be Kip Wilson and Jelly Roll at WrestleMania.
Right. 2 out of 3 falls.
Jelly Roll and Danhausen versus Kit Wilson and The Miz. I'm calling
Right.
it right now.
There you go.
Jellyhausen versus Miz and Kit.
You know what? That's going to be a snack run.
Right.
Hell no, dude. I want to see Danhausen in front of all those people. Anyways, for me, though, C-, just because I didn't like the way they did we didn't need 12-minute ending to have Cody Rhodes walking through a hallway for 5 minutes of it.
Right. Yeah. Because you would have thought he would have ran. So yeah. I do have we will expose a rumor that KG started Tuesday night.
Well, there you go.
And the rumor, when we expose it, it gets the biggest person I'm going to fault for it is the vet, because I think I'm going to put it on his shoulders. It's more his fault that this happened. So,
what, Jellyhausen?
No.
Jellyhausen.
Think about it, Vet. What did you say I should do?
I don't know. I got distracted for a second. What was that?
Okay, well, so you didn't watch the show Tuesday then, right?
No, I did not watch Tuesday's show. When you guys were reviewing Raw, no.
Okay, so KG said that.
Don't admit that shit. Yes, you watched it. God damn it.
Yeah, you're supposed
I was working.
You should have said, "Hey, I was working, but I had it on my I had an earphone, an earbud."
Oh no, I was training a new guy that night, so I was kind of busy. Normally, I watch you guys on Tuesdays. I listen to it while I'm doing dishes. That's dishwashing time. So you're my dishwashing buddies.
So KG came out said there's a rumor that I'm writing a second book. The rumor is true. I am writing a second book.
Hell yeah. I'll put that probably in my library next to the first one.
So the second book, I have talked to my wife, and we were trying to figure out which route to go.
Cocaine and hookers.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But we're going into more. So if you haven't read the first book, you need to get the first book if you're going to get the second book, because the second book goes into depth about a lot of the stuff.
My birthday is in October, Robbie, if you have it done by then. If not, Christmas is a couple months after that.
Right. Well, I've been sending this stuff to, I'm starting chapter 5, believe it or not.
If you need a proofreader,
You got the email.
If you need a proofreader, I'm right here.
And so it was funny. One of the guys at the gym, you'll get a kick out of this, goes, "Are you putting your match in there that you had with Robbie?" I go, "Yeah." I go, and the scary part is we already know who's winning and losing. So he goes, "Well, you can't put the book out till May 10th.
Guys, Monday, I have Tommy Walton from OVW who's going to be on. And then on April 13th, Baby Doll's coming back. And Baby Doll was one of my first people I've ever interviewed. I told her, you've got to come back because I'm so much better. Guys, don't forget to check out my interview today with Mike. It's such a great guy. I had such a good time interviewing him. This was actually part 2. Mike Kinney, I interviewed him. He is a motivational speaker, and he was a professional wrestler. He's been in the ring with a lot of the greats out there, so check that out. That is on YouTube as well. Please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, as well as find me, KG Landry, on Facebook. Also, get your bell rung. Pro Wrestling Podcast. Find that on Facebook as well.
And on blogspot.com, find some of KG Landry's greatest writings, all compiled together. He's going to write a book soon. We're going to compile all his great stories into one book.
Never know. Guys, anything else you guys want to push before we end this?
buy Robbie's book. He's writing the second one, so read the first one. Looking up at the lights, available on Amazon, or reach out to Robbie. You can buy an autographed copy. At least I hope you can.
Yes.
And also, guys, again, our condolences to Rich,
Yes, very much.
who passed away today. He meant so much to so many people. He was the vice president of the CAC. Rich Ingling, to his family, friends, our deepest condolences. Yeah. On that note, you guys have a great weekend.